Hi, welcome back. In this lesson, I want to show you traditional grip. Now, traditional grip is the grip that most marching drummers traditionally use because basically their drums used to be mounted on their side. They were sometimes called side drums as well as snare drums. And it was uncomfortable for them to use a matched grip technique because it means the elbow is stuck right up there in the air and becomes very uncomfortable when marching for long periods. So someone developed a technique where instead of that overhand style, you put your hand on the other side of the drum and you're suddenly playing an underhand style, and that allows you to relax the elbow. Now, to develop a sense of finesse, what they had to do is make use of the fingers. So basically, the traditional grip, well, the way I approach it, I put my first two fingers out, lay the stick on top of that, and then fold the other fingers out so that they harness the stick in there. So basically they're sitting in between the first two and second two fingers and also touching the part where your thumb meets the palm of your hand. So it's a little more complicated in the way that it looks as opposed to the normal matched grip. But it's not really that hard to pull off. You might remember the fulcrum from Stick Technique Basics. So again, the fulcrum is the point where you hold the stick primarily to allow it to bounce into the practice pad. So the fulcrum on traditional grip is going to be, again, that point where the thumb meets the palm of the hand. So on these Steve Gadd sticks, the American flag there, the Vic Firth flag, is what's going to sit on that point because that's the optimum fulcrum on this particular stick. And there you go. Basically, you're allowing the stick to bounce from that point. You can see that V shape there I've got in between my thumb and first finger. That's what's holding the stick in place, essentially. So, again, with that fulcrum in mind, I now go back to that idea of splitting up the first two and second two fingers, allow the stick to sit in between, and that is traditional grip. Now, we have to be able to play single and double strokes initially with our basic grip. So, a single stroke. Well, we can just keep this grip steady. You can keep your thumb over the stick and play a single note like this. But you're choking the drumstick if you do that. You're not getting any tone out of the drum, out of the drumstick, and you're not getting any feel out of any of it. You're just forcing the note. So what we have to do is, when the stick hits the pad, we open up our grip and catch it again. So I'm really exaggerating it now. My fingers are completely coming away from the stick and coming back to catch it. Now this takes a lot of practice to get those fingers back in that same position where they came from. Again, it's a very delicate balance here between the second and third fingers where the stick sits. So it's a matter of practicing it enough that your fingers naturally go away, then come straight back to where they were. For smaller, quieter notes, it simply requires that your fingers only go away for that split second. And again, the point of taking those fingers away is to get that nice, free, open tone out of your stroke when you want it. Let's move on to a double stroke. So, basically the same sort of concept as a double stroke with the right hand in a match grip situation. We're allowing the stick to bounce and then catching it on the second note. So again, it requires that we make use of our fulcrum here, throw the stick down into the pad, let it bounce on the fulcrum, on that meaty part of your palm. After the second bounce, you bring your fingers back up and catch the stick. Really slow and gentle and quiet at first. And you can see I've also got my thumb in there to make sure that the stick does bounce correctly. Some players make use of their thumb more than others. Some players even make use of their thumb in playing each note of the double stroke. But it's not required for that basic double stroke feel. It's essentially the thumb is there to keep control of the stick to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. It's really the stick itself that plays both notes. So, single strokes, double strokes, and that's basically it for traditional grip basics. Some drummers do like to let their sticks hang further forward so that there's more weight to throw into the drum, and that does allow for a nice powerful traditional grip stroke, but that sacrifices the quality of your rebound. Again, we're only getting so many rebounds there, where at the proper fulcrum we can get many rebounds indeed. So, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson on the basics of traditional grip. Keep watching for more lessons, and I'll see you on the next one.